Let's talk about the latest developments in our nationwide criminal justice crisis with criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool. Guys, I want to share something before we sort of dive into the meat and potatoes. It's just a tweet that I found very interesting. It's from Jonathan Turley. He's a constitutional law professor, and he's talking about how the two cases that we've been talking a great deal about really seem to crystallize the potential of justice. He says this: the Rittenhouse and Arbery trials show the transcendent strength of our jury system. Many denounced the Rittenhouse jury as racist for its acquittal verdict. President Biden declared that he was angry with the jury decision. Yet in both cases, juries of 11 white jurors and 1 black juror came to unanimous decisions on multiple counts. They did justice despite angry demands and demonstrations raging around their courthouses. Brian, let me bring you in on this. You know, I found it interesting. A lot of the conversation on the one hand sort of centered around this idea that the jury got it wrong, at least in some circles, with respect to the Rittenhouse case. They were suggesting that maybe racism was somehow an aspect in the case, which obviously all the victims and all those involved were white, so I don't know where they came up with that. But then I found it very interesting today. Those very same people said, yes, the system works. And so I'm just curious from your perspective, knowing now what we've seen, is this something we can draw from and say, yes, the country is moving in the right direction, yes, we're already headed in the right direction, or is this an anomaly in your opinion?
Yeah, Kevin, great to be with you. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
The Rittenhouse trial and the Arbery trial stand for this proposition, that our jury system works. You can't cherry pick the jury system, which is what President Biden did and a lot of other left-wing politicians and a lot of media outlets. They simply cherry picked. They said, oh, in the Rittenhouse case, because this is a white guy who was allegedly a white supremacist who was at a demonstration regarding a black man killed, that he needs to be convicted. Well, there was a lot of chatter in that case. It was highly politicized. But guess what? The jury in Rittenhouse was able to separate all that chatter, focus on evidence, focus on facts, and reach the proper determination. That was the right verdict in Rittenhouse. Self-defense applied. Now, in Arbery, there were similarities in this case too. In Arbery too, right? You had a man who was being chased, and then the defendants claiming, oh, we're using self-defense. There was a similarity. They argued too, oh, we're trying to safeguard the community, much like Rittenhouse was saying when he was at the demonstration. But guess what? The jury in Arbery got it right too. There was a lot of chatter out there as well, saying, oh, wait a minute, our entire race relations relies on this decision. You better get it right. But they focused. And Kevin, make no mistake about it. This was a big victory for race relations. This case was about human dignity, and you had 11 white jurors in a deep southern city with a black man killed. And this jury was able to, again, focus on the facts, focus on the evidence, and their decision today was about human dignity. The jury system worked. Yeah,
you nailed it. In particular, this narrative that whites only vote a certain way or blacks only vote a certain way, whether it's in politics or on a jury, that's bunk. It's out of the window, in particular after these two particular cases. Very quickly, guys, quick comments. I want to share a soundbite. This is the newly elected mayor of New York City, and he's talking about this idea that we've seen rampant crime, not just in places like California, but New York has suffered too, and he's saying we have to hold judges accountable, and we have to put people on the bench who will take care of business and punish those who are making it unsafe for the rest of us. Listen to this soundbite.
I appoint criminal court judges, and I'm going to be extremely clear. If you don't understand that my city must be safe, and you can't get caught up in the politics of the city, but you must make sure that those who are posing imminent threats to our city, they are not going to be placed back on my streets and back into my community.
Brian, wrap it up for us.
Yeah, sure. If you have a gun conviction, there should be state laws across the country and a federal law that you should never be able to get your hand on another gun.
Gentlemen, as always, really appreciate it. Brian and Randy, have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thanks.
You bet. Thanks,
Thank
Kevin.
you. Appreciate it.